thought I would share my experience with the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. First of all, I'm going to tell you how we came across it. I've always heard of Dave Ramsey and off and on heard bits and pieces, and I just didn't really think it applied to me and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, I didn't even know he had classes until was buying some pipe from an individual. And after we had bought it and everything and was getting ready to leave, we just talking in general about his place and so forth. And so he was telling us that they were debt free in 3 years. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. And I was like, and that's great for them. And he says, we took the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. And I said, really? And I said, well, what was the one thing that you took away from that? And because I didn't think we'd be able to afford it, and especially with buying a new place and trying to get it all set up. And he said that it was the debt snowball. And so, of course, I go home, I look it up, actually probably on the way home. And the debt snowball is where you list your debt from smallest to big, doesn't matter the interest rate or anything, and you pay off the smallest bill, use that payment on that smallest bill, and you add it to the next bill, to that payment, and once that is paid off, and you make minimum payments on everything else, and once that's paid off, you go to the next bill. So actually, what I thought was really, really neat about this, it's the money that you're already spending. It's not extra money that you got to come up with. And anyways, when we got the Financial Peace University, it was $129, and within 3 days we had saved well over that and had actually paid off a really small bill, and by changing our focus. And after that, it looks like by our calculations and everything, by doing this, if we did not pay anything extra, we will be out of debt in 2 years. 2 years and 2 months, to be exactly. But my husband does get some overtime and everything, and so we'll be able to throw that at it, or anything that I sell, I'm throwing at it, because my goal is to do it in 1.5 years. That's not including our mortgage. Anyways, and another thing about the Dave Ramsey Peace University is they teach you how to budget, but this is kind of a different budget. You give a name to that dollar so that that dollar goes exactly where you want it. And then he's always talking about when you are debt free, you give yourself a raise. And actually, I think you give yourself a raise every time you pay a bill off, because say that you have a bill that's $25 a month and you pay that sucker off, well, you've got an extra $25 a month, even though it's going to the next bill, but that was $25 you didn't have to go to the next bill. And one thing about this, even though you hear all this different stuff, he actually gives you a plan to follow. And anyways, it's June 30th, 2019 today. We had started about May 27, 28, so we've been in a little over 30 days. And like I said, it's been an amazing journey, but it's also a God thing, because I get excited. I can feel his presence every time I think about this. I think that debt is a bondage, and we're fixing to be released from this bondage, and hopefully, well, we're going to pay everything by cash, even though it may take a while. But I have been listening to Dave Ramsey's podcast, and every one of them that does the debt-free scream, they talk about how much they were in debt and how long it takes them to get out of debt. And he always asks the question, what was your income when you started the program? And every one of them said what their income would be. It's either doubled or tripled by the time they are debt-free. Every one of them. I've not heard one say that they have the same income or that they have less income. So that is my own thinking, But I really believe that God blesses all kinds anyways, but when you are trying to get out of bondage, and I just really believe that that's his way of doing a huge blessing for people so that they can do more for other people. And one of his sayings that he says over and over is live like no one now so you can live like no one later, and that way you can give more if you're out of debt. Another thing that has been amazing is actually me and Scott has gotten even closer. And we have budget meetings. We get paid every 2 weeks. And thank goodness we get paid on the same day. And we sit down and we're doing this together. We're doing it together. We pay our bills and then we set our cash in front of us and we name our dollar to everything, whether it be for horse feed or dogs or running around money or gas money. I mean, every dollar has a name so that you can see exactly. But it's also heartbreaking because you realize how much you're putting money in other people's pocket instead of yours. And it's like you're just working for other people so that they can have whatever. So that has been really an eye-opening. And so now you're probably wondering, what does that got to do with your barrel racing? Well, it has everything to do with my barrel racing. And actually, it has changed my focus on my barrel racing. I do have the goals, but I've kind of revamped my goals because I want us to get out of debt so that I can go more and I can pick wherever I want to and not have to worry about, do I got enough gas to get there, or you know, I got to win a little bit of money to carry me over to the next. And it does get stressful, and then I always feel guilty because, you know, we really don't have the money, and here I am, I'm going to go do this, and anyways, I want that stress off, that so I can have more fun at it and be more enjoyable like it's meant to be. So, on my horses, I have decided I'm going to stay close by. I'll probably be going to Shakota a lot. They're starting next Tuesday, which is July the 2nd, and they're going to run every Tuesday for a while. So, Dooley, I'm not able to get him around 3 barrels right now, but I'll have to do that story on another deal. But he is going to be exhibitioning one time. It's going to cost me $4, and the arena's like 25 miles from the house, so I won't have much in fuel. And then see me go, I will run him. It's $30 entry fee, and I think probably $5 office charge, so it'll cost me $35, and this way I can go and take both horses, and then I'm going to build up from there. And if we don't win any money, we're not going to go anywhere big. So, but I have to keep going, and you have to haul these horses. And the more runs you make, the better, you know, you can get. So I have to start somewhere, and this is where I'm going to start. And going to make sure I stay within the budget and go from there. I highly, highly recommend taking the university class. It is worth every penny and then more. I was really surprised that it was only $129 because I really thought it'd be a lot higher. But one of the biggest things that I love hearing him say is make sure whoever you follow, or whoever's your mentor, or whoever you're going to use, that they have a heart of a teacher and not the heart of a salesman. And that makes a huge difference. But anyways, like I said, I highly recommend it. It is not easy. It is a huge commitment. And to me, I think both spouses have to be on boards for it to work. There is a Facebook page and there's podcasts, and I listen to 2 or 3 of its radio stations every day because I want to stay motivated and I want to see this to the end. And you can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. And when you write it down on paper, which I'm a big fan about writing things down, but when you write your bills on paper and you can look at the debt snowball and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's definitely life-changing, and I cannot wait to see where we are a year from now. So one of my goals is, once we get out of debt, is I am going to be a blessing to other people, and I am going to enroll them in these classes if they want to be enrolled, of course. That is my goal, and I cannot wait to do that for them. One more thing, don't be surprised if you hear me say, oh, it's not in the budget. Oh, I got to put that in the budget. I got to wait till the next budget meeting. So, God bless and have a wonderful day.